Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of our podcast. We are excited to be here with you. We're going to start off this conversation by talking about the year of the snake, which we have finally shed. And then we're stepping into, or are currently in, the year of the horse. We want to look at what that looks like for us, what it feels like for us, and also what it feels like for you. So make sure that you're commenting below as you're watching this and letting us know what your experience is in your world. And yeah, we're just excited to be here, see where this conversation goes. These podcast recordings for Lori-Lyn and I are always very intuitive. So we show up. Sometimes we have some topics in mind. Sometimes we're just like, hey, I made it to this recording. Let's just celebrate that. And then we'll move forward. So, Lori-Lyn, for you, the year of the snake, what do you find yourself shedding, or have you completely shed, or do you still feel like you're picking some of that skin off?
I definitely feel like I'm still in a shedding process, but I have actually recently done some physical world shedding of just getting rid of things like objects. I took a week and cleaned my basement and took stuff away. I just took objects away out of my living space that have been like weighing down on me for a very long time. And I just felt like the energy just came in to do it. It was like I can just step into the energy to do it. And I'm still kind of in that process. And then I think as a result of doing that physically, I've noticed some energetic and emotional things like shedding masking. And
Mm,
I'm feeling like not as concerned about how people are perceiving me and better able to just show up as me
yeah.
and not worry so much about the perception of me.
I love that. I love talking about stuff with you because we both love things. And I think we both love, well, I know we both love spaces and just organizing them in ways that feel supportive to us. And then relationship to stuff. I think that's something that we've talked about a lot
Yeah.
too. When you said that like the energy arrived for you just to dive into it,
Mhm.
I was thinking about this week in a different context because I remember at a different period, like for instance, in my 20s, I remember there being a period of time where I was like, am I an alcoholic? Like sometimes I don't want to go to the bar. Sometimes I don't want to go out. I don't want to drink, but I didn't have like the willpower to say no to that impulse when it showed up because it
Yeah.
was also like a social and there was a lot of me keeping myself distracted and busy by the people around me. And then however many years later, I had Sawyer, my first son, and it didn't happen at first, but initially it was like, it's not worth me having a hangover or like the the window of time and energy arrived where I was effortlessly able to stop drinking, to stop participating in that because the circumstances of my life, something else prioritized itself
Yeah.
that moved that way. And I have found that in a lot of other circumstances where I find myself for periods of time, like wanting a certain expression of myself, or whether it's to stop doing something or start doing something or expand into something. And it's like, I try. It doesn't happen. No traction, no traction. And then all of a sudden, there's a window. There's a window and the energy is there. And if you
Mhm.
say yes and you dive in, it works with you and it moves forward. And that has given me some permission in my life to not have to, like, if something's not flowing, if something's not working, it's often not because I'm fucking something up or whatever. It's
Right.
just like it's coming to you. The window is coming to you. You just have to be patient for
Yeah.
when it arrives. You have to hold your intention for what you want, and you have to be
Yeah.
ready to take action when it shows up.
Yeah.
But it takes away a lot of the like berating yourself for
Feel it.
being able to figure it out yet or not
Mm.
being able to get it done yet or, all of those things because it's like, no, the window of time just hasn't appeared yet. Like I'm
It's
holding
true.
steady, but doing what I can. And then when the window appears, I'm diving in.
Right. And then to be able to stop saying to yourself, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" Like maybe nothing's wrong. You just don't have the proper framework. It hasn't arrived yet. The energetic framework hasn't arrived yet for you to, the timing isn't right, but doesn't mean that something's wrong.
I'm going to apply that to my garage right now. It was like a man cave. The man no longer lives here. some of the man's things are still here, and I need to get those things to the man. But then also
Yeah.
my little man has gone out into the space and like he got an electric drum set for Christmas. And so he moved that out there.
Mhm. So it's becoming a
It
little man cave.
is, but in the process of that, it was a storage unit for me. And like anytime I change out a furniture piece, like it goes in the
Yeah.
garage and I
Yeah.
love it. It's amazing. But he completely like kind of just shoved all my stuff to one end of the garage. And he was like, "Mom, it's so clean." And I walk out there and I'm like having a panic because everything is just shoved to the front of the garage.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this advice and apply it to that because I've been obsessively thinking about it, but I haven't had the time to get out there. Like, and I also have an 8-month-old baby, so it's like, what am I gonna do with the baby while I'm in the garage and whatever? So
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. But the window of time is going to arrive for me to
Yeah.
tackle that, and it will be wonderful and it will feel amazing. And I don't have to beat myself up or strangle my son for it.
It's funny though, what you were saying about stuff, our we have a similar thing about stuff. In the midst of doing so much clearing, I am obtaining new things. I am getting new things that come in. And that's part of how I do
Yep.
it, is I tell myself, like, I'm making space for this stuff I want. And like I do it with, I have a tendency to keep everything. And so I have clothing that I've not worn for 10 years. I'm never gonna wear that thing again.
Yeah.
But I remember something about it or I like it as an object, and so I
Yeah.
keep it. So I tell myself, like, if I get rid of this, then I can bring in something new to wear.
And I don't yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I just didn't wanna give the impression that I'm a minimalist. That's
If you can see by the decor and all the patterns in the background, maximalism at its best.
right.
Year of the snake. What have I been shedding? Oh man, I'm like my brain just flashed through the last year. Everything I've been shedding.
A lot.
A lot, a lot,
A lot.
lot. Relationships, identities, ways of being, ways of thinking, ways of praying, ways of wanting. I haven't been letting go of as much stuff because I feel like and when I moved into this house, we had shed a bunch. And so I've more been curating and collecting and like arranging and making rooms feel how I want them to feel. So there is in that, there is a shedding of like the stage of my home and the experience of my home that was there before now. And I shared my space with a partner and he has since moved out. And so it's like a girl house now, even though I have 2 sons, but like it's girl house. And so I just have pink and purple in as many places as possible. So I definitely feel like I've shed an old version of my home and am rebuilding it now. But there was some kind of there was some kind of box I was in or some kind of agreement.
Mm,
I don't even know. I don't know. The only thing I can chalk it up to is that it was a soul agreement that I had to become who I am now. Because it is very true that like I am different on the other side of that box. And this wasn't just last year. This was many years of an experience and busting out of the box, I can feel how powerful I am. I can feel how easily I've given that away in the past. I can feel like the gifts that I'm here to offer and the impact that they have on the people around me. I can feel how much I enjoy peace in my mind, in my home, in my experience, all of those things. So yeah, I have shed a lifetime. The snake energy, yeah, it's very interesting on the other side. And there still are threads lingering, that are unbraiding, but it's not I don't feel as weighed down by any of it anymore. So out of the box and I'm here and year of the horse and charging forward into this vision that I have for like my this business that I want to build that I've always
yeah.
wanted to and I've had versions of it, but it feels like it's coming together
Yeah.
in a way that it hasn't before, including my content creation, how I'm feeling. I'm sure me being out of the box really helps that experience as well to be actualized. And the other interesting thing is that, like, I know this isn't to say that I don't have collaborative partnerships with people because I do. You are one of those people, and then there are other women in my life that there's collaboration there. But I had this experience of over the last 6 months of any time that I would try to, like, I guess, be in partnership with someone in a way that there was some kind of dependency, even if it was like I was unaware of it or whatever. The universe was like, "No." And so it was this very luckily, I was aware enough as I was moving through it that it was comical to me. And it wasn't like I wasn't internalizing it with what was wrong, but it was like
Mhm.
every time I would like try to make the partnership or plug in or whatever, nope. And I'm like, okay, I will do this by myself. I don't, well, I hear you. I hear you. And so it really put me in a place of acceptance for like what I just need to own right now for myself by myself moving forward. And I think it's one thing to like say all the words of what you want, but it's another thing to do the actions and hold the space for what it actually is and what it and the actions that it takes. And like
Yeah.
those are just two very different things. Cause I can hear my younger self being like, I'm gonna do rainbows and like all of that. And it's like, that's a beautiful vision. But I hadn't yet built the character or the complete skill set and understanding of what it takes for like the execution of it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. That's brilliant. It makes me think too, like when you're talking, when I'm listening to you describe that, and I'm thinking how I sometimes have a stumbling block, I think, between trying to discern, is this resistance that I'm feeling the universe telling me no? Or is it me putting up a resistance for some other reason? And I think that's like, it's so clear when I'm watching you do what you're doing. It's so clear to see that you have moved into this new phase, and the way that you're showing up inside your work and what you are offering and what you're doing. It's just on this completely different level, and it's like opened up. It's very cool when I'm scrolling on social media and I see you, and I get really excited because I just see that level up and that glow that you, and that understanding that you have come, you do have the foundation for it now, and all of that work that you've done is evident in the flow and the ease of what you're doing now.
That's great.
But so I'm thinking like I can compare and contrast my own experiences with that, and thinking sometimes I think I'm not easily able to move forward with something because there is a reason that I'm not supposed to do it. But sometimes I think I'm not easily moving forward because I'm putting the brakes on it for some reason, that I'm going to have to just push through those brakes if I'm
Mhm.
going to think. And it's a little bit hard for me sometimes to know which is which.
Hey, I completely understand that and resonate with that and have experienced that. And it is truly only recently that I feel like I even a different understanding of that experience. So this is like new information for me as well. But I think there were a few things that changed for me when it came to the resistance being there and being like, is it timing or is it myself? One
Mhm.
is that the vision that I have, I decided like I'm ready for this. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Whatever it means for me to have this and own it and operate it and make it come to life and be a real thing, I'm ready for it. And even
Yeah.
as I say that now, I can feel who it is that I'm going to have to become in
Mm.
order to really hold space for what that means.
Right.
In contrast to where I was before, it was easy for me to say, like, "These are the words of what I want," and I could
Yeah.
see the vision, but I don't think I even fully understood what it would mean for me to actually step into that, actually do it, actually see it
Yeah.
through, actually hold all of the components of what that
Yeah.
because it's like I don't wanna get too nitty-gritty, but it's marketing, it's the business systems and structures, it's the team that operates the business, it's the clients inside of the business, it's the revenue and making sure that it's directed appropriately. Like there's a
Mhm.
whole ecosystem inside of what it is that I wanna build. And if I'm the one at the head of that, there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with that. So
Yeah.
old me was like, "This is fun, this is beautiful, wouldn't this be amazing?" "Yes, girl, it would." And, like, there's all this other stuff that
All the
you
other stuff.
you before that's here, so are you sure that's really what you want? And
Yeah.
now me is like, "Yes, I'm clear that that's what I want," because I also see, other access that it gives me to create impact and help people feel powerful in their lives, and for me to feel more powerful in my own. So, also I've had a lot of astrology come through where it's like, this is your purpose. Like, this is what you're here to do. So get to it. Like there isn't anything else to you. This is what it is. So that was one thing is that I decided like I want this 1,000%. Whatever it means for me to step into this, I want this. And I know that that also comes with things that I can't anticipate and don't know are coming down the road either. So that's part of it too. But it is the willingness to develop my container so that I can hold space for all of that. Because I think there was a part of me before that wasn't willing, didn't like could it didn't fully it's really just like a youthful energy. Like when I think of it, it's just being young. Like when I that's all that it is. It's just like you can say the words, but until you really get the gravity of what the actions require, then it's just words, It's just words until you do the action. So that was part of it. The other part, because I did as I have spent months creating content for my business, and I have seen success with that, and I'm leaning into what's working. But I have the back end of building what I need has moved a little bit slower for me because I was like trying to work out the logistics of how I wanted the customer
Mm,
experience to be. But I could feel as I was starting that some resistance, and this was just in the last couple of weeks. And it didn't feel like the same resistance that it had in the past to me, but it was still that energy. And I was in it for probably like 2 weeks. Part of what I did was send you that Marco Polo where I just kind of externally processed everything, and that
yeah,
did help clear it up because as I was talking through it, I was able to find solutions for myself. The other piece is that I was like, God, this resistance is here. Help me slice through it. Help me move through it. Like I don't and so in the past where it was me more having a conversation with the resistance itself and being like, "Why are you here? Can't you
yeah,
move? It's like uncomfortable. Like, can't I'm
yes,
tired of you being here." I don't even like that's there, but I'm not gonna engage with it. Instead, I'm going to engage with the beyond and I'm gonna ask for assistance. Like, if you want me to move forward with this idea, if this timing is right, if this is aligned with my path, help me dissolve this, help me release this. And I don't know what happened, but it did. It did. Like
yeah,
to me, that's the miracle that comes through because the next few days following that, that resistance wasn't there for me
yeah,
anymore. So sometimes I do think that it's like, if we're moving on this spiral and we're going back to some similar places that we were, that resistance, if it's just like a cloud of fog, it could be residual energy from past experiences. And so rather than like identifying with it in the moment, I would instead plug into the Laura that wants to build that vision of what is important for you to create and then the higher power and say like, no, like that's where I want to go. Help me move through this so that I can get there. And then just move out of the way and let it dissolve.
yeah,
And it may not move forward in the exact way that you thought it would, but a path will appear where you can make some kind of movement there. But that's a new thing. That's a new thing for me because you and I have talked about the resistance before, and that's been a common cycle that has shown up. But I think because this particular situation and idea that I have feels so important to me that like I'm not willing to let anything stop me. There's been too many, not only do I have that inner calling, but there's been too many external circumstances that have rolled around where I was like if I find myself in a position like that, I want to have my business built. If that occurs, I want to have my business built. And so it's like I have to take these steps now so that later my business is there. It's there for a myriad of reasons. Like one,
right,
because it's my purpose,
right,
two, because of the impact, but three, because I want to be the safety net that catches me, when anything else falls. So it feels necessary to move forward.
I love what you said too about not necessarily talking to the resistance because I think that's something that I have spent a lot of time in my life doing is looking at the obstacle and
Yeah.
trying to figure out the obstacle and what's your name and why are you here and what did you find teach me like with my basement thing.
Yeah.
What I had to do was move through it, just like the voices showed up, like, I went down there and the voices showed up and said,
Yeah.
"You can't do this, this is too big, you don't
Yeah.
know where to begin," and I had to just let that talk and not listen to it and go
Yeah.
forward, and I think that's a big difference because I have spent a lot of years of my life looking at the roadblock
Yeah.
and trying to appease the roadblock in some way or
Yeah.
talk to it. And then I just think, yeah, maybe sometimes you just got to go over the roadblock, let it do its thing, but it can't have the final.
Yes. So I don't know why, but as you're talking about this, that the resistance that I'm picturing is like like in it to me, it appears in like 90s cartoon or commercial animation. And it's like a dust hairball on the floor and it has glowing eyes and it has the teeth that are, and it's like, it don't go in there. Like, creepy. But whenever you walk through it, to me, it just, like, evaporates into it
Yes.
because it's an illusion, it's a facade, it's, like,
Yes.
there to
Yes.
distract you and make you feel shitty and lie to you and, make
Yep.
you feel like you can't do anything when the reality is, like, if you just walk through it and if you don't know how to walk through it, that's where you pray and you ask, like, "Help me
Right.
walk through this," and you will be
Right.
shown a way. It does just dissolve, it's not anything that's made of real substance.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Okay, well, I love these conversations. You never know where these podcasts are gonna take you.
Never know, but we'll always go somewhere.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. We will be back next week with another one. And if there's anything that you want to hear us talk about, if you have any questions, or if you've been struggling with resistance in your life and you have some tips or techniques that have worked for you to move through it, please comment and let us know because we would love to hear your advice. We'll see you around. Make sure that you follow both of us on Instagram. Follow Lori-Lyn at Lori-Lyn Hurley Studio, and you can find me at Megan Monique 888. And we will see you around the interwebs. Have a great day.